Hi, I'm Jeff Ludy, the window expert. So you know I did a great video, I'm going to put a link down below, about the Sierra Pacific family of products. Today I thought I would take the time to actually dive a little deeper into their vinyl line. This is the 8500 series. So this is a vinyl window. One of the first things you see, right, because obviously we all look through our windows, but first we look at our windows, is you can see that they are absolutely beautiful. Now, one of the things that I want to point out right away is look at this color. This is not a common color in a lineup for a vinyl window company. Usually you have to get into really premium products, like you have to get into the Sierra Pacifics of the world and their wood products like the Westchester, the Monument, Aspen, some of those aluminum clad products, right, with real wood inside and aluminum outside, to be able to participate in some of these interesting colors. But if you look at this. These are 16 standard colors that are available without having to pay an upcharge. If you wanted any color under the rainbow, they could make it for you. So customization, beauty, color options, this is one of the few companies that makes a vinyl product, in my opinion, that is gorgeous, and the spectrum for color is wide open. It's a designer's heaven, right? Now, another thing you see on this is the beautiful grid pattern. We'll get you a good close-up of this. This is what we call SDL, which means simulated divided light. I got a great video explaining everything you want to know about grids. This explains to you how these grids work. This is actually not 4 pieces of glass. If you look at your windows, and if they're older windows, this would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 with real dividers in here. These are simulated dividers to give that rich, that nice full look that you're going to get when a window has dividers without it being stuck between a glass. Now walk over here, I'll show you something. Here's a competitor brand, right? This is not as nice of a window. As you can see, the grids are not on the surface, the grids are between the surface, and that's why they don't look as realistic as those do over there. Plus, you can see the low E coating. This has a coating that helps protect the energy from coming through, the heat coming through, and now it changes that color. That was white, like this is white, but now it looks kind of green. Well, you don't get that when you see something like this. Look how beautiful this is. Look how nice that grid is right on the top. It's the same color as the frame. So this is something that you're going to only get in your upper tier products. Oh, you're thinking, oh, is this expensive? Hold on, I'm going to get to that in a minute. You're going to get a nice option for colors. You're going to get these simulated divided lights, and you're going to get a lot more choices. Now, this happens to be a casement window. Okay? In other words, what it means is this window opens from the inside with a crank instead of it being a window that operates up and down. I unlock that there, I take this handle, and I mean, really, you should watch this. Ready? Pinky. I'm going to open this with my pinky. Look how easy that is, okay? This is not as easy as it looks. It's sliding off my finger. That's how easy it is, how slippery it looks. It's got a little spinner on here, so your hand can spin with it, and then it opens up nice and wide. And here's what's really cool, like Mama's going to like this. I can just pull these 4 little pins, okay? And I can take this screen out from the inside. And by the way, on a casement window, your screen's not going to get dirty. It's not outside getting dirty. And you see all of your grids better. And look at this. I can clean this side of the window. I could be on the 4th floor. I'm cleaning this side of the window, and then I'm cleaning that side of the window. That's pretty cool. Now, while I got it open, I want to show you. This is the paint line, right? So the interior of this window, this is a 2-tone window. The interior of this window is a tan color. The outside, they took that tan, they mask it off, and they paint this. They put a beautiful, nice finish on this, and that's how you get a 2-tone window. The hardware is really good hardware. It's designed to withstand wind. I mean, obviously, you don't want to leave it pried open in the really high winds, but I think something else that's pretty nice is come around my side. You might have to come around over here, Andy, show them this. See this little thing right here? See that little tab? That's got a little hook to it. It engages over there, okay? And you've got that one here, you've got one up here, you've got one down there, and then on this side, you can see that we have these little pins. Yeah, kind of hard to see. Oh, maybe get it on that side. Look at these pins. See these pins right here? There's one here, there's one down there, there's one down there. They engage right here onto this part of the unit. So people say, Jeff, I want energy efficiency. I want something that's not going to leak air. Well, watch this. When I close this, right, I'm hitting the weather stripping on that side and it's hooking in. And now I'm going to pull this latch down like this. And oh, such a satisfying feeling that when I put that down, I feel it draw that unit in nice and tight. There's probably only one unit, any particular door unit on your house that performs better than this. You know what it is? Your refrigerator door. I mean, talk about the importance of sealing, talk about the importance of keeping the wind and the dust and the sound out. The sound, you can reduce a lot of sound when you have a really tight fitting window. And so this is, and by the way, a lot of people like to leave the screens off. At my house, I have screens, I don't put them on because I like how it looks without the screen. I think it's really pretty like that. Now this is their casement. Now they're gonna have just about every shape and size and dimension. They've got trapezoids, they've got octagons, they got ovals, they got round windows, half rounds, ellipticals. Look at all these choices, amazing stuff. This is a double hung window. Double hung meaning the top and the bottom move. They also have this available in a single hung where only the bottom moves. But when you take a look at this, when you first look at this, it looks like a really well-built wood window. So let's say you live in an area of the country where you're pulling out wood windows and you want a wood window look, you want something that's, you know, a little more traditional looking. Again, those grids on top, right? Beautiful, nice grid. And we'll get you close up here, but a nice little beveled, routed edge here. I mean, usually you have to go to a much higher quality series product to be able to get that beveled edge. You have to go like to wood or something. You're getting this beveled edge out of vinyl. I mean, this is really unheard of. Now, we'll tell you, Sierra Pacific, right? These guys, they own they're the largest private property owners in the country. They own thousands and thousands, if not millions of acres of forestry because they're mainly a wood company. They sell a lot of wood. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you're gonna see their products on the shelf, but they also make wood windows. So they know that what they're probably gonna do is there's gonna be occasions where a homeowner says, I want their wood product in the common areas of the house, but in order to save a little bit of money, I wanna go ahead and use their premium vinyl product. So they make their vinyl product look a lot like their wood product. Look here, I'm gonna show you a picture of their wood product. See how this is quite identical really when you look at it from a distance. And then they can mix and match this because this could go upstairs, it could go back on the side, it could go in the apartment over the garage. And from the street, you look great, everything looks great, but you're saving some money, some cost. We call it a hybrid project. Now, you know me, I'm a little picky about stuff, right? So I'm gonna point out a few things to you that I wish they did a little better. And by the way, this company's always improving, so I'm sure we're gonna see some of that. But I don't care for that corner right there. You know me, I love talking about corners. That's kind of a rough corner, and maybe this one just got through the process and they didn't catch it because this corner to me feels a lot smoother, but this one kind of stands out pretty high. You can see sort of that little, I call it scarring. Now when you get into vinyl windows, right, there's gonna be some of that. I've got some vinyl windows that don't look anything like that. They're just smooth and gorgeous, but when you get a bevel like this, sometimes that corner right there is not gonna be so pretty. Another thing that I'm not a huge fan of is, if you notice here on this particular unit, right, I got the black outside and the black inside, but look, it actually was overlapped onto more of a tan unit. So I can still see the tan unit behind there. And the reason for that is they start with a tan window, and then this actually is like a wrap that goes around it. Now it's not a wrap like you think about with your cars, but this is not paint. Okay, this is an overlay, so it's very durable, very scratch resistant. I like it because it's really a great way to put a color onto a window, and I like the fact that when you're going with a dark color like black, right, you really want something very reliable and very robust because black takes more of abuse, right? You get that heat, it's more abusive on it. So I understand why they did it, I just wish there was some way to not show this. Now, here's the thing. The reason they don't cover this is because when this window operates up and down, right, there's some rubbing that's going to happen in here, and when that happens, eventually that would peel off. So they'd rather not create an issue where you have to call them back out and then they have to come out over and over again. They just pretty much say, listen, if this is what you need in this price point, you know, be glad you're getting a beautiful window, and it's just got this one little, you know, quirk to it. Tilts in nicely, right, as you can see. It's got a triple weather stripping system on it, right? You've got this weather stripping here, then you've got a double unit right on there. There's no weather stripping on the jamb. The weather stripping is all in the sash, which is pretty common when you get to vinyl windows. It does have an interlocking meeting rail, so this piece right here will lock with that piece right there. You get sort of this handshake, right, where you get some good weather resistance. You've got a set of weather stripping coming across here that helps to protect any wind from coming in from underneath the side of that. And I'll tell you, when you close this window, it closes nice and tight. I like it. It feels good. There's not any wiggle. You know, like people say, hey, you got any wiggle room on that deal? no wiggle room here. I mean, look at that. Those double locks, the tolerances that they use, the heavy gauge vinyl that they use, keeps it looking crisp and clean, nice and squared off, really good straight edges. It's a beautiful window, and it's a high performer. Now, Jeff, what else don't you like? Well, you know what? I wish I didn't see that weather stripping right there, but I do. Now, thankfully, this is a dark window, and they gave me a darker weather stripping, but if this is like a white weather stripping, some companies use white, you'd see that white against the black, and you probably wouldn't like that. When it comes to glass packages, right, they have all the Cardinal glass packages. You've watched my videos about glass. Cardinal is the best glass out there, and Cardinal Glass is who makes the glass for them. High quality glass, all the energy packages you could pick, depends on where you live, get professional advice. But they also offer a sound control package, which uses offset glass. We've talked about that a lot with aniline windows. That's one of their standard features. This will actually help reduce sound, even as a double pane unit, but with offset glass, you're gonna get even an additional sound reduction. And so think about this, think about a really well sealed unit like this, right? Where we know it seals great. With the offset glass, you're really going to see a reduction in sound, a reduction in air transfer, less dust, less pollen. If you have COPD or asthma, you're gonna be breathing cleaner air in the home. Right? You got children who struggle sometimes with their sinuses and they catch a cold and those sort of things. No drafts, no dust, no dirt. It's improving the quality of your home, and your home is where you spend most of your time. And it's really good to know that you have a great window. Now, I just have a sample here as well. This is in a different color. I like this color too. This is kind of a grayish color. This is of their picture window. I like it. No, I don't like it. I love it because it's got such a nice narrow profile. So imagine you've got this like beautiful view out the backyard, and you don't want that big bulky window that takes up so much space. You want more glass. More glass, Jeff, give me more glass. This gives you a lot of glass, okay, and very little frame. I mean, look at that next to this window here. I mean, look at this window. This is like almost 3 inches of bulk, right? And look at this one. This is like 1.5 inches. So you're going to get a lot more glass, and you're going to have this really nice look. Now, I also like how it's got a little bevel to it. These guys don't make boring windows, okay? They don't make any boring windows. Everything's got a nice contour. Everything's got a nice shape. Everything's got a bevel. And what's beautiful about it is, like I said earlier, they like to pair this with some of their other products so that you can mix and match and have a beautiful home. On the inside, I put their white, and the reason I put their white in here is I wanted you to see that this is not a stark printer paper white. This is a nice softer white. This is kind of like the Sherwin-Williams paint that people use a lot to paint their baseboards and their trim. This will blend in the house with your white casing instead of stand out like a super bright piece of plastic. And so I like it for that reason. I like what they've done with the corners on this one, right? These feel a lot nicer. This is good. I think maybe that one just kind of missed that mark. I like how the unit is attached because this is designed specifically for a replacement as well. We put the screws through here, and they have these little caps that cover it up. So you get a nice clean look. It's a nice finished product, can be installed by a professional installer, and you will never have issues with that again. Now listen, you say, Jeff, what do you mean a professional installer? Oh, we forgot to talk about that. These are the worst windows in the world when a bad installer puts them in. It's horrible. Can you imagine buying $39 a pound A5 Wagyu and letting a 4-year-old kid grill it on in a brick oven at 9,000 degrees? It'd be a horrible steak. Getting a great steak without a great chef is a terrible steak. Getting a great window with a bad installer is a bad window. I tell you all the time, just 2 key things. 1, find a great window, find a window you love, find a great installer, find an installer you love. Those are the 2 things you need to fall in love with your window. Is that how you do it? Fall in love with your windows. So you say, Jeff, you said something earlier about price. Well, okay, so you're not going to be shocked by this price, but it might take a minute to get used to it when you see it, because this is not an entry-level product. Okay? Neither is it the most expensive vinyl product you're going to buy. But it is up there. It's in that upper tier. It's in that upper category. And you know, that's actually not a bad thing. Let me tell you why. There's a difference between expensive and costly. This is not an expensive window. This is a costly window. It costs more to make a window that has these attributes, that performs how this does, that has these grids on the surface, that uses this high quality glass, that uses this overlay, right? These things cost more to make. They're not more expensive, they just cost more to make. So if you're looking for, hey, I'm going to be in this house 2 or 3 years, I got some bad windows, I need to replace those so my real estate agent can help me sell this house, don't buy this window. But if you say, you know what, I've been in this house, I've been in here for 20 years, we're going to be here 20 more years, they're going to take me out with a toe tag, I want a really high quality product that I don't have to replace again, then this is definitely a family of products that you're going to like. By the way, great people, privately owned. The only stockholders in this company is their customers, you. You get to be the voter who says, I do or I don't like it, I will, and I won't spend my money with you. These companies are not about EBITDA, even though that matters. They're about taking care of their customers, taking care of their vendors like me, and taking care of their employees. And I've known many people on this team. They're really good at what they do. They are. So you say, Jeff, where can I find this window? Well, you know what? It's on their website, but if you're looking for a great window installer to help you put it in, I know a lot of great window companies all over the country, including, of course, here in Houston, where I'm at, and we're also in Dallas, Fort Worth. But I created a website because I get so many people asking me, Jeff, do you know anybody in my area? You can find a list of great window installers at thewindowexperts.com. Go check that out. Hey, you know what? This YouTube channel is not funded by anyone. No one pays me to make these reviews. The only way we stay around and keep things going is people subscribing and people hitting that like button. Would you mind doing that for me? I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again real soon.